Tsonga has always been pretty patient with both his back feet, though he had a phase where he didn't like them on the hoof stand, so I had to bevel from below. When I used to hand feed him for my trimmer, he was similarly patient with his front as with his back feet. But I had stretched his patience too much for some of the trims I did by myself by holding his foot in position when he wanted it down. So he became unhappy with his fronts being handled, even with free choice food available, such as in this video. Due to my mistake, holding a flight animal's foot, he disliked his front hoofs being handled so much. On bad days he even refused to have them done while being hand-fed. So I had to start from square one. Not every approach suited him and me, but force was of course out of question and would have been counterproductive anyway. I tried a more classical clicker training approach that professionals of that field would probably cringe at. He kept tail swishing when I would ask for his foot and put it down so quickly I didn't get enough of a time window to precisely catch the hoof up with my click. I didn't give up on this approach quickly and even made some progress with the duration by clicking and treating while still holding his hoof. We weren't making progress fast enough though, as his hooves desperately needed a trim. One that I could do without having to rely on others feeding him. A tip from a movement science perspective on how to help a horse that struggles with holding their feet up is doing instability work outside of this context to practice better standing balance and give the nervous system confidence that they won't fall over. My favorite instability tool is the gymnastic mat. With the time pressure of him desperately needing a trim, I went back to a previous approach of free choice high value food in a bucket. I did the first trim spread over 3 or 4 days, only for as long as his patience held up. Whenever he pulled his foot away, I let go of it to give him back control over his body. Sometimes that literally meant only a time window of seconds at a time for trimming. He could walk away at any point in time as he wasn't tied up. This practice was really hard on my body, but it paid off and his duration increased. He started to tail swish way less and barely showed me his mad face anymore. Yes, he was still pulling his feet away if he didn't want them held anymore, and he still does to this day. But he is much less stressed about it, and it's less hard on my body. His bodily autonomy is just part of the process of trimming, but it's no big deal for either of us anymore. Whenever he would feel uncomfortable with the hoof stand for the bevel, I would compromise by doing part of it from underneath and part of it having him stand on a wooden board. I can do a full 4 feet trim in one day now, unless his feet are really long, all because he was allowed to have control over his situation. He still gets unhappy at times, but it's no big deal, he can always take a break.